Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to go back and do a re-review on this 1/6 scale werewolf figure by Coomodels. It's Monster File 02 Werewolf 1/6 scale handmade figure number MF002. Beautiful box. Now, to get a much more detailed look at this figure in the packaging when I first received it, that was some years ago, but the unboxing is on my channel. Well worth checking out because I filmed the whole thing, getting it all out and making sure everything was, laid out clear for you, because the werewolf doesn't come assembled like this. He comes in his human form, but with everything you need to turn him into a werewolf in the box. So you might want to watch the unboxing first. The original review that I did, checked back on it recently. I was just curious to see if how many poses I put him in, and it kind of looked like I didn't put him in any poses. I just had one pose for the review, and then I showed you everything he came with and talked about the figure, but I didn't really go too crazy with the poses. So I wanted to go back, re-review him with a nice 4K HD camera here, and put him in some different poses, and just give him a more updated review, give him the full treatment. Absolutely love this piece. I love werewolves, always have, and this is my favorite kind of werewolf, a biped that runs on its hind legs. Very much reminds me, at least the actual werewolf design, not so much the clothing that he still has on from after his transformation, but the actual werewolf design has always kind of reminded me of the werewolf from the movie Bad Moon, which is one of my favorite werewolf designs. But I hope you enjoy this one, folks. If you do, drop a like on it and let me know what your favorite werewolf movie is in the comments and what you think of this figure. Always love to hear from you guys, especially if it's anything to do with werewolves. So go ahead, get involved, share your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Now we have the werewolf screaming up at the night sky so that we can take a look at his chest area. And I've had to add this kind of third level of werewolf fur. I've had to add that myself. I didn't have to sculpt it, luckily. I was able to kind of pinch or steal or borrow the separate fur section here around the neck of a Sota Toys werewolf from the film Dog Soldiers, my favorite werewolf movie of all time. If you haven't seen it, stop what you're doing and watch it and come back. Absolutely my favorite werewolf movie. But I've had quite a few of them over the years, and you can interchange two different heads, as you can see it comes with, and you've just got this kind of separate piece around his neck. So I borrowed one of these from the figure, and basically I think I had to put a little cut down the back here and then just kind of spread it out across his chest, and it basically stops that really harsh transition from the really well painted and sculpted werewolf hair fur, but then you get the exposed plastic body, which is very kind of shiny plastic. There's no attempt there to make it look like real skin or anything like that. I guess they thought you wouldn't see it, so why bother? But you do see it. So you have to come up with a way to add another layer of hair like I have here. And this just worked out so perfect. It even, not this one, because this was the brown hair. What was it? I don't know. It looks a lot lighter. But anyway, the one that I actually used, as you can see, it really matches up perfectly with the fur that was already on the Coomodels werewolf. And I didn't have to repaint it or anything. It just blends in excellent. So that is something I've had to do. It is quite unsightly without that added, but you could just put a t-shirt on the figure and rip it up and make it look all bloody. That would work too. I've seen folks do that. So just wanted to let you know. But you would have to have one of these and then choose to, not display him, because you're taking his fur away from around the neck to make this figure look better. But maybe you're werewolf obsessed like I am, and you've got a few of these lying around, or a few of them that break, because these ones are quite fragile. They're very top heavy, so the legs tend to sort of just gradually over the years will tip forward and eventually break. I took some measures with the one that I've got out of the packaging to stop that from happening, but anyway, that's how that was achieved, and it works really well. Now there is the head sculpt for his human form, which I've never displayed him in. I mean, you buy this because you want a werewolf, and it's great that they give you that option. And it is a very, stylized kind of look for a human being. I guess It's just from the cheekbones down to the jawline, it's very elongated, and it's interesting. It's an interesting artistic kind of take, individual kind of style to the piece. That's all well and good. But yeah, paint job could be better. You can see some of the transitions from hair to skin, little bit messy. But again, never intended to display him with this on. But that's how that looks. You do get the little doll, which I often have with Freddy Krueger in 1/6 scale. He's usually holding that. You do get this separate, the werewolf little nameplate there that you can put wherever you want. When he is in his human form, you get this other arm where he's like mid-transformation. You could have him with that head on looking at this hand. You know, that's really nicely done. Nice paintwork, nice sculpt. Hair looks good. Really well sculpted though, those nails look nasty. But I mean, you could use that. Some of the Vampirella TP League Firesin bases have hands just like this that come out of the ground. So you could just hide that behind a tombstone on your Vampirella figure or something. And so everything he comes with, you've got the human arms here, and the human legs, which will attach to this body, replacing the werewolf limbs. And we have mid-transformation arm, we've got some ankle pegs there. Where are his shoes? I must have stolen your shoes, didn't I? I stole them for someone else. Who though? That's the question. I'd have to go and find some pictures of this figure online, check out his shoes, and then it's going to hit me, and I'll remember. But it's been a while. I definitely robbed your shoes though, sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, he comes with some shoes or some boots possibly. Trainers maybe? Basketball boots, I don't know. Maybe primp soles, flip-flops. Men shouldn't wear flip-flops, no one wants to see men feet. Man foot. College of Psychiatrists. That's what you get. You might get some more stuff that I've forgotten about. You get a comic book, that's in there. It's all in another language, can't read it, but I'm sure it's a good story. You get the card behind him, which is a nice backdrop of a forest at night with a full moon, and on the other side it's got a picture of a werewolf. Basically that's the first thing you see. That's like the nice covering card. When you lift up the main lid of the box, you take this away and then you see the figure, but then you realise, oh my god, on the back you've got a beautiful backdrop. And I really love that they did that. I mean, you need this with a werewolf figure, and we're going to be able to use this with all kinds of other werewolf stuff. I mean, other werewolf figures that are hopefully made one day in 1/6 scale. Maybe the Necker Kessler Wolf from American Werewolf in London. You could use this for some photography with that for sure. And it's great for other horror characters as well. I've used it for Freddy Krueger pictures, Michael Myers, all that lot. So I like it when they include a backdrop, and it's a very good one. Oh, you get the base. Now, this is a Hot Toys dynamic stand slash base, I guess, whatever you call it. So that's the only reason he is so well held up right now. Because the kind of plastic clear rod that they give you that plugs into that hole there and it just comes up, it just doesn't do the job very well of holding them up. So as you can see, I've got a Hot Toys dynamic stand here, which was actually a gift from Sven many years back. So Sven, if you're watching, thanks very much for the base, the stand. It's very, very handy for this piece. And I just basically plonk the diorama base that they give you with the figure on top of it, and I always have him posed like this, just kind of running through the woods. I mean, the crazy wild look in his werewolf eyes with the mouth wide open, the claws out like this. I mean, you can really tweak it and get him to look terrifying. It's a hell of a presence. Look at that, just hauling ass through the woods at night. He's coming for you. What are you gonna do about that? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Right, so I want to try and pose him on all fours, sort of crawling towards us, but the head doesn't really want to stay up looking at us. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to wedge some blue tack kind of right up in here. I'm going to get some blue tack, and I'm just going to, for the purpose of this pose, for taking some pictures for Instagram. I'm going to wedge that blue tech up in there and get him to keep looking at us while he's crawling forward. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, with the fingers just sculpted in the position that they're in, you can't really go for a real crawling along on all fours pose. He's not meant to. He's a biped, so that wouldn't make any sense. But I'd assume that he can kind of run on all fours. I imagine that, like, if you really wanted to get some speed up, he would just start galloping on all fours and it would look really scary. But yeah, he's definitely running on his hind legs. That's his main gig, really. The old the two back legs back there doing all the work. Anyway, doesn't look too good, does it? Looks alright. I mean, the figure looks good, but I just mean the pose. It's not quite, and you can see the blue tack. Uh-oh. Special effects behind the scenes. Yeah. He does sit quite well. That looks hilarious. He's just sitting. And he's shouting at someone over to the side there. Shut up! I'm trying to sit. I'm trying to enjoy this moment of peace before the craving for flesh returns and I must feed once more under the cold glow of the moon. Look at him. The size of his hands, he would disassemble you. That looks pretty interesting. Just perched. Actually, it kind of looks like he's doing a number. No. Yeah, we're better than that. It's a great looking piece though, even in a silly pose like this, that looks kind of cool. It's different. I've never posed him like that before. But good posability. Bit loose in the joints department now. He probably always was, because he's got heavy. These hands are heavy, man. He's got big old werewolf feet, big old werewolf hands, claws. You know, so it's a little bit tricky, but you can get it done. I've never had a problem with him. Life of a werewolf. Got to be painful, the old transformation. All your bones breaking, reforming. Your heart has to die and then grow, come back as a much bigger heart. The wolf heart's massive. But yeah, all the bones breaking, your skin ripping and teeth all getting pushed out, new ones coming down, your eyeball like changing into a wolf eye. That's got to be painful. Your ears changing into wolf ears. So to be fair, I don't really blame him being a little bit miffed. Yeah. I just got him standing up as straight as I can. The knees are always going to be a little bit bent because he's got that kind of werewolf double knee situation. He's got like your usual knee there and another one there, if that's what you call it anyway. But he is a big lad. He's tall. He's got long arms. He could have your face off one swipe. Very, very good reach on him. We'll stand him up next to some other horror characters so you get an idea of the height difference. I don't often display my werewolf like this though. I always display him in that pose you see at the beginning of the review where he's hurtling at you through the woods with the arms out, full on attack mode. He can do it, so, you know, that's just such an aggressive looking head sculpt. We'll get a closer look at that in a minute as well. Let's just stand him up next to some other horror slasher characters. I have to have the werewolf on the dynamic stand because he's no way going to stand up. You can't use your usual kind of groin grabber stand with something like this. You probably could, you know, but it'd be very unstable. You really do need something to grab him around his waist there. So let me just get Jason's foot on the stand there. Jason's actually not that much shorter than him at all. They're actually almost exactly the same height, to be fair. But the elongated arms and just the general disproportionate beast-like form, just, yeah, he does look very big. But next to Jason, by Sideshow Collectibles, that's the Sideshow Collectibles Jason, next to a Coomodels werewolf. Not too bad. We'll try one more. Pop you back up here, JJ. Some masks and that. Yeah. Pop that. Put that there. How about... See, the rest of them are kind of custom. We've got Ghostface by Sideshow. Let's try Leatherface because that's by 3-0. Come here. Let's get you in the game. Right, Art. Right. Get your foot on there, and that's how. Leatherface a bit taller, and he's looking down a little bit as well. I mean, you could probably get the werewolf stood up even straighter than that. But no, he's a good height. I thought he'd be bigger next to these guys. I thought he was going to be towering over them. He's usually separate from them because I don't really have him displayed next to the horror. Well, he's on the same shelf. He's usually down here with the rest of the werewolf stuff. Turn that brightness up for you. Yeah, you've got your other bits and pieces. Right. You stay there. Behave yourselves, lads. Eh? Very washed out. Let me do something about that. There we go. You look like colour adjustment. There we go. Pinhead? Oh, he'd be tiny next to him. That's not meant to look like that, by the way. I'm just trying to figure out things at the moment. Alright, let's take a closer look at some of the details. I'll just turn him askew a little bit here. Now, I do wish his main front fangs were a bit sharper. They're very kind of chunky looking fangs. It's a bit of a... yeah, I mean, it's from a comic book, which you get with the figure. But I would prefer slightly more realistic, sharp looking fangs. I've often thought about maybe trying to do that myself, but I mean, worst comes to worst, I screw it up, I have to remove the teeth completely and just sculpt all new teeth. And that's definitely doable, but I don't really want to devalue him. It's the same reason I haven't painted him a different colour. I would prefer more of a black fur with, you know, hints of grey to give it some highlights, but mainly black fur with either just pure white eyes with no pupils, so you just terrifying like the Hound from Hell. And you can never really quite tell if it's looking at you or not. And just bloodying up the mouth area. I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe I'd like to change as well. I love the idea of him having like the Terminator 2 biker jacket that Arnie wore. That kind of leather jacket, all ripped and bloodstained, would be sick. Maybe one day. I've been saying that for years, but I know he's a valuable piece. He's hard to get, so I don't really... I mean, but I'd never sell him. This is one of those pieces I'd always keep, so I don't really worry about devaluing him. I just worry about maybe going too far and then regretting ever messing with it in the first place. You know, we've all... well, some of us know that feeling, but... yeah, the shirt's really nice. You can see the buttons, though. The jacket's nice. You've got that kind of fur inlay here. That's nicely done. But great work on the claws, fingers. I mean, yeah, you could definitely have some fun weathering this and bloodying it up. Never really seen, on YouTube anyway, I've never really seen anyone do it. I'd love to, because it would probably inspire me. It would be the jolt I need to just make me finally just do it. Or maybe I'll be the one to do it and maybe inspire some other people to do it. Who knows? Stop saying do it so much. But yeah, look at that. Side profile is just excellent. Look at that. That's my favourite kind of werewolf. I love the ears as well, pointed back. The long snout. Nice bit of gloss on the eye there as well. Yeah, some really, really great work from Coomodels. I believe before this one it was, I think it was Frankenstein, then after this one they did number 3, which was Dracula. And that was a pretty damn cool piece if I remember. I think that would, you know, convert from a more human looking Dracula into a full-on bat looking thing. And I remember the base had like a lot of detail. It's quite gory. I mean, this is just so well done. Take a look at his feet. You've got a fair bit of movement there as well. You've got various points of articulation, one there, another one here, and then obviously where it attaches onto the body. So yeah, nice work on these. Nicely done. Very cool. On the underside, let's take a look at that quickly. Yep, not too bad. Pretty good detail. Well, it's a pleasant surprise to see that he can still hold his arms up like that, even with the extra weight of the sculpt of the werewolf arms and hands, fingers. There's a fair bit of weight there on the end of each arm, but holding them up, they ain't going nowhere. So I'm proud of the piece. It's holding up well. Looks like he's doing a bit of a dance there. But yeah, impressive. Now, I really like this pose. Standing upright, just kind of walking with his claws just kind of out like this. Really looks intimidating, really scary. Just letting everyone know he is the big bad wolf. Let's look at that. I'm probably going to put him back on the shelf in that exact pose. Not sure if I'm going to be able to incorporate his original base like I did before, because that had to be set up a certain way. That pose that I started the review in all stemmed from the fact that I needed to twist the dynamic rod that's holding him up around that tree in order to get it both to work together, both stands. So I'm not too sure if I'll be able to do that again with this pose, but either way, that's how he's going back on the shelf, because that looks awesome. I think I might put him on the rotating base as well for you while he's posed like this, because I think from any angle that's going to look fantastic. But this is an essential piece, folks. If you're a horror collector and you're a werewolf fan, this is definitely one that you want to get. You've got very, very few options when it comes to a 1/6 scale werewolf. I think the same company were going to make another one that was a bit more... this is from a comic that you get with the figure, obviously, but way more, I don't know what the word is, a bit more of a silly werewolf design. I really can't describe it to you. I'll try and flash a picture of it up on the screen now for you, but yeah, I don't know if that even got released. I've never seen any videos of it, but this is the one. This is the 1/6 scale werewolf at the moment. It's absolutely excellent. Coomodels did an amazing job. I hope we get more 1/6 scale werewolves in the future. I'd love to see the Howling Werewolf, 1/6 scale American Werewolf in London, Dog Soldiers in 1/6 scale, Bad Moon, although this is pretty close to that. I mean, you could take the clothing away and then go to the trouble of sculpting in all those areas where there should be fur and sculpt it yourself and just paint match it or just repaint the whole thing. It's doable. I swear I've seen someone do it, but that is awesome looking. Look at that. Absolutely excellent. That's a werewolf right there, folks. That's how they should be. Maybe not necessarily with the jacket and stuff, but that is freaking cool. Alright folks, I'll wrap up the review, give you my final thoughts. I think it's an excellent piece. There's far too few 1/6 scale werewolves when it comes to figures in the world. We've got quite a few options for statues of werewolves, and NECA are coming out with some American Werewolf stuff in the 7-inch scale for the ultimate figures. Really looking forward to getting that. So when it comes to 1/6 scale werewolves, not that many options. I think there was a 1/6 scale Underworld statue made out of kind of like vinyl or whatever. It looked really good. I think that's 1/6 scale, but that obviously doesn't move much from what I remember. It would have been cool to get a Van Helsing werewolf. Again, this is quite like a Van Helsing werewolf. I'm thinking of the Hugh Jackman film, so there is that as well. It's a great piece, but obviously with the issue of needing to find a way to cover up the shiny body, where I've had to add more hair there like I showed you earlier, that is an issue and definitely stop him getting like a 10 out of 10. So I'd give him like an 8.5, maybe even a 9 out of 10. You get the human form that you can have him in, and that's really cool, because if you did have two of these, you could have one in the human form, but at least with the transforming arm into a werewolf arm, have him looking at that, maybe holding his arm, looking at it, and then have this beside him to show the full werewolf look. Beautiful box. Really nice that they included the background of the forest at night with the full moon as well. That is excellent. Love the fact that you get the werewolf little nameplate there that you can put whatever you want. The little doll that's bloodstained that comes with him, the comic book, and all the other little goodies. So yeah, 8.5, 9 out of 10. A fantastic werewolf figure, and I would definitely recommend it. I think it's quite hard to get these days, but have a look on eBay, see what you can find, and I wish you best of luck with that. Let me know what you think of how he's looking in the comments, and absolutely loving this pose, so that's how he's going to be going back on the shelf. Alright folks, I hope you've enjoyed this little re-review on a classic piece. At least to my mind, I think it is. Just has one hell of a presence. You don't see too many figures like this in a collection. I mean, look at the presence. I didn't put them on a rotating base for you in the end. I suppose I'll just turn him a little bit and we'll see him from different angles. Just before we go, that angle looks fantastic there. Feet planted nicely on the ground. And let's just try this angle too. That looks good. Excellent. Alright. Thanks for watching, folks. And I'll see you this Friday for a live stream on the channel. Have a nice long chat. All the collectors getting together. That'll be at 8 PM UK time. I'll see you then. Alright, folks. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Actually, before I go, I will just show you that I did manage to get his base back in place under his feet without spoiling the pose. So that is looking absolutely fantastic. That's how he's going back on the shelf. You've got the nameplate there. And just for a little bit of stability for that foot, I've got him standing on the doll because he's on the hunt. He's got the scent and he is hunting some poor soul down. All right.